This is the cassowary, and we have sailed to Innisfail on the northeast of Australia to learn all about them. Sadly, human activity in the past century has driven the birds almost to extinction in Queensland, with only 2,000 to 4,000 left in the wild. In this episode, we talk to volunteers of the coastal and cassowary conservation and hear about the bird's spiritual importance to the Jujuru people. This is the story of a sailboat named Sylvia and the ragtag crew that call her home. Join us each week as we explore the planet both above and below the surface and see what it's really like to live a life at sea. This is Expedition Drenched.
We are island hopping our way from Townsville to Cairns, and we've been enjoying some really cool exploring and scuba diving and hiking and a few sketchy anchorages, lots of rolling, but it's a pretty sweet day out on the ocean today. We've got a beautiful downwind sail and it's a little bit rolly, but other than that, we're doing well out here on Sylvia. Meanwhile, look at this power stance Kat's got. How are you feeling?
I don't know, it's kind of hard to talk at the same time.
Matt, what is Kat doing today?
Kat's steering us. She's steering us to Mission Beach. She's doing a really good job. So she's, it's pretty puffy, up to like 25 knots, and she's handling it like a champ.
As long as I waited without a sign, the sign of what matters to you.
Beautiful, beautiful morning. But you don't get many of these in Innisfail, from what I'm told, because this is the wettest spot on the Cassowary coast. I think they call it like the greenest green you'll ever see, is like the slogan of Innisfail. We are about to go down south to Mission Beach. Down there, we're going to be meeting up with a man named Peter, which is very passionate about cassowaries. If you don't know what a cassowary is, well, neither did I until I got to Australia and came across one. And it is the most beautiful bird I've ever seen. It's the most crazy dinosaur-looking creature I've ever seen. So we'll show you that. But we're gonna do a story about cassowaries, because if you don't know what it was, like I didn't know what it was, I think you're in for a real treat.
Hello! Good morning! Yeah!
This is why we live here. My name is Peter Trott. I've lived in this wet tropics area for 15 years. To me, it's one of the most wonderful bits of Australia because there's just so much wildlife and such diversity of species. I'm a volunteer with Community for Coastal and Cassowary Conservation, which is a group that aims particularly to maintain and secure the habitat of cassowaries. We work to do a lot of habitat repair and reconnecting corridors so that wildlife, including cassowaries, can move between fragments of forest that have been created by the clearing process. Cassowary is sometimes called the Dinosaur Bird. It's when you see the feet, they have long 3 toes and claws on each toe, and the inside claw is razor sharp, so they look just like pictures you see of dinosaurs, and they date from about 25 million years ago. The cassowaries are part of the ratite family, which includes the ostrich and the emu and some of the other flightless birds that have occurred in different countries. Cassowaries grow to be up to this high. When they're full stretch, they can be up to this high, down the neck. They have a red wattle that gets longer as they get older, and a casque on the top of their head, which scientists don't really know what it's for, but there's suggestion that it helps communicating at the very low frequencies that they use. Their diet is mainly fruit, but they also eat roadkill, lizards, little mammals, fungus, and any other things that they can pick up in the forest. There's about 70 species of rainforest trees that the seeds are enhanced in their germination by going through the cassowary. Since European arrival 250 years ago, about 80% or more than 80% of that suitable habitat has been cleared for agriculture mainly, but also for towns and roads. So the cassowaries that remain, between 2,000 and 4,500, the ones that remain are limited to less than a fifth of their original habitat range. So these are some of the fruits that cassowaries eat. The interesting thing about the quandong is that it's got a very hard seed, and if you put that in a pot and keep it watered, it might germinate within 2 years. After it's been through a cassowary, it can germinate within about 2 months. And so the cassowary really plays a very valuable role in dispersing the fruit in the rainforest. This is called Cassowary Plum. This is a fruit that is too big for any other bird to eat. Because the cassowary is the only bird that can disperse these, we call it a keystone species. It's essential for the survival of the rainforest and dispersing the seeds. One of the main reasons for this wet tropics area of Queensland being World Heritage is because of the enormous diversity of species, both animals and plants. We've got a third of Australia's mammals and marsupials, and half of the butterflies, and a third of the birds, so it's very rich biodiversity. And added to that, it's the only place in the world, I believe, where there's another World Heritage area lying alongside with the Great Barrier Reef. So these two areas are both exceptional in terms of biodiversity. And to maintain that biodiversity requires an enormously complex web of interactive behaviour by plants and animals. There still people are discovering new ways that animals depend on plants and plants depend on animals in intricate webs of nutrition and survival. Cassowaries play a valuable role in that, in the dispersal of seeds, and one of the major threats to cassowaries is the fragmentation of their habitat, because once the habitat is fragmented, they form separate populations that don't have the genetic diversity that they would have if the populations were able to interact.
Okay, well thank you very much, Peter, for taking some time to teach us about a pretty unique animal. One of the things since we've been in Australia that I'm just continually impressed by and blown away with is it's home to like fantastic animals that you can't really picture anywhere else in the world. So it's cool to meet someone very passionate about them and knowledgeable, and we really appreciate you taking some time to teach us.
Well, thank you for your interest. We're always very pleased to share the wonders of the wet tropics with people who come and can spread the word around, because it is a really wonderful place. As Norman Myers, an ecologist in the States, said years ago, the tropical rainforest is the greatest celebration of life on Earth.
Matt, nice to meet you.
Hi Leonard, I'm Jordan. Very nice to meet you.
Kat, nice to meet you.
Yeah, we're here to talk about and promote cassowary conservation and the area as a whole. And so all this art's you, huh?
Well, not all of it.
Mm-hmm. So you do some cassowary art.
That's from last year's Cassowary Festival
Mm-hmm.
and the Strand Ephemera Sculptural Competition in Townsville.
Okay, go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name's Leonard Andy and I'm a Juru traditional owner of the Mission Beach area. I live here on country. Most of my work I do is about the rainforest and regarding the cassowary and the threats and the pressures that are on him today. For us here, the Juru people, the cassowary he's not a resource and we don't see him as a tourism icon. It's more a spiritual creature. There's a few dances we do, but there's only so many that are done with animals, and he's one of them. Today he's called Cassowary, but here in language he's called Gundoi. That's our tribal name for him. He's a story animal, and most of the stories are got to do with morals, and his story is about what you can eat and what you can't eat. You may be seeing a cassowary, but it may not be one, because we have stories of shapeshifters. The whitefellas have UFOs and aliens, but we've got Jigabinna. We've had visitors from the stars before Captain Cook. And for us, it means more to have the cassowary here than tourism. Yeah, because the pressure's on the environment here, and you can't just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, because you lose something.
Would you say that the main inspiration for your cassowary art, is it conservation or is it just honoring the animal? What would you say is your main thing that inspires
Probably
you
all
to?
All of that.
Yeah.
Because you can't honour the animal and not respect the land. And you can't, not respect the land and honour the animal, because you can't have one without the other. And that's what we're finding here.
What a beautiful bird, huh? I'm actually shocked at how big the baby is. Not that much smaller than the adult. What do you think of the cassowary?
Oh my god, it's a dinosaur bird. It's some combination of a turkey, an emu, and a dragon, all rolled into one.
So we ended up having to leave our anchorage in the middle of the night. A nautical mile. No, fuck, I'm so fried. So we ended up leaving our anchorage in the middle of the night. It's just too much. We ended up leaving our anchorage in the middle of the night because we.
The shadow from the steering wheel being
Well, we ended up leaving in the middle of the night, leaving our anchorage. Jordan here, instead of her being in the sun like a normal person, she's bundled up. Why are you all bundled up? Why don't you just go get in the sun and warm up, you weirdo?
One more night. One more night. I won't be sleeping one more night.
Okay, so I have a public announcement to make that I feel like the world needs to know, which is a really amazing...
Listening to Sophia Yacht Rock, not like Yacht Rock, the Spotify generic playlist. Ours.
Get out of here!
Go to our website and
but
download the link.
Ours is not as good. I'll say ours, I'll say it, but also if you want to listen to ours, just let me vlog in peace, people. Okay, take two.